Hey, and we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. And today we're talking about Sea of Thieves. We're taking a quick look here because it's been like 6 years since Sea of Thieves released on Xbox and PC. It was March of 2018. It's an ongoing live servicey type game, and we do tend to revisit these every few years. Like we did with Fallout 76, we've done it with a couple of MMOs, but we never got back around to Sea of Thieves. And now with it being released on PS5 as part of Microsoft and Xbox kind of opening up some of the floodgates and putting their games on other platforms, it really felt like a good time to jump back in. Man, Sea of Thieves has maintained a player base and a community for a long time, and the developers Rare should be commended for that. It might not be a game for everyone, may not even really always be my type of thing, but for the folks that found it or it found them, they tend to really love it. And the move to PS5 seems to be working for folks because the premium edition of the game, and I think the regular edition at some point as well too, was the #1 spot on PS5 Store's pre-order best-selling page in multiple countries. So I guess there was some hunger for this one. And what you've got, if you're jumping in, is a reasonably priced pirate jaunt that's good with friends, has a community, and works fairly seamlessly. I had played Sea of Thieves quite a bit back when it first launched. I thought it was cool, but it felt like it needed more. You know, the foundations were there for a simple, fun game, but I wanted more to do, more to progress through. And the game has a bunch of stuff in it now, particularly with Season 12, which just dropped. I'll just start with the newest thing. New cosmetics, seasonal rewards, all that stuff, but also new weapons to use on your ship and on land, particularly throwing knives, which I found to be pretty fun. They're really cool and satisfying to pull off because like you can slash or do a heavy slash like a regular melee weapon, like a sword, but then you can also ADS and throw the knives, and like the impact of the knife is really satisfying and cool. You can get something that allows you to summon skeleton warriors to help you out. Also, some new ways of getting around. The zipline type things that were added in a Monkey Island thing are now more prevalent. Also, harpooning from your ship leaves a tightrope that you can walk along to get to peculiar places or, you know, try and save yourself from a dip in the ocean. There's more, but like that's the general basics. And I'm just mentioning that really to just also kind of hammer home that this is the 12th seasonal content update, meaning there have been like 12 others with significant stuff throughout. It has to have been good enough, I think, as an outsider looking in to keep people coming back to this game for so long. But I will say the game is still kind of beauty in simplicity. You know, you're gallivanting around with friends, navigating your ship, finding treasure, fighting enemies, doing bounties, and searching for mysteries on the sea and on land. And all of it walks a really interesting fine line to being like really painfully simple and easy while also not really holding your hand and kind of letting you just get into your own shenanigans. There is a big map here with a lot of stuff to discover. It feels like you can just kind of endlessly pirate quest and battle and just goof off or dig up treasure or find a weird island. Like you get that satisfaction here that you don't get from other games that have tried this more recently, like Skull and Bones. So combat, even with much more fun weapons added in, is still really basic and one note. You know, you're swinging a sword or shooting at enemies with pistols, rifles, shotguns, but there's not a lot of statistics to it. It's really, really simple and still feels a little soft around the edges. It is better, yeah, but it just kind of gets the job done and doesn't always feel compelling. Unless it's a really big, specific, exciting moment, because then those are worth it. On the other hand, like the stuff that I really like is getting a ship going with a few people or trying to navigate a map while one person holds a light and one person holds the map and another with the compass. As you know, the game just doesn't spell anything out for you or give you massive quest markers everywhere. That's where the magic of the game can still really lie. It's about hanging out on a ship with your friends, playing music, doing emotes, chatting shit, doing whatever. If you don't have any friends, you can still pilot a smaller ship on your own, but the game feels way more lonely, with towns and outposts and stuff really mostly still just filled with like glorified quest giver menu people who don't really always have too much to say. The simpler stuff is filled in with you and your friends, like I keep saying, goofing around. And if you're into finding your own fun, then this will work for you. If not, then yeah, you might hit a wall fairly quickly with this one. But like when the game launched, and even more now, you have to spend a few hours with it to get to the good stuff. More advanced ship battles, swimming for shipwrecks and treasure, sea monsters, and stuff like that. Anytime you're on land at a major place now, there's just more to take on, more to do, more bounty style stuff, more factions to do jobs for. Like, it's still structurally the same, but there's more. And then, of course, more rewards. Getting a cool ship custom tailored to you with cool sails or weapons and like a cool pirate hat, stuff you've been working for, can be somewhat satisfying. Also, there are the tall tales, which has been really nice for me to have to chew through as like an old returning player. You can jump into these like right after a tutorial in the beginning and then do them solo and safely or with friends. Essentially, big, fun, handcrafted adventures in the world of Sea of Thieves. You're still doing a lot of the same things, but with some more storytelling elements, characters, some cool scripted moments, some different, more interesting puzzles and surprises. There's a Pirates of the Caribbean themed one with Jack Sparrow. There's also a freaking Monkey Island one, which is really, really cool, complete with the characters you know and love if you like the old games, and a beautiful town to explore.
Look who's back to meddle in my affairs. Ye must be even more stupid than you look. Threepool belongs to me now, and that's the way he likes it. Ye can try and talk sense into him until you're blue in the face for all the good it'll do. But while ye waste your breath, I'll be doing as I please on the Sea of Thieves.
I'm still working my way through it, but these tall tales are definitely a nice value add. And with the PS5 version, jumping on with that, I was able to very seamlessly link up my old account and just get going. I was prompted to link my Microsoft account to PSN, and just logging in with that on my PC next to me, I was good to go in it with all my old stuff. From there, I immediately jumped online and started playing with a friend who was playing on PC, and crossplay seemed to work really well. More importantly, the connection was good, and it doesn't seem like the PS5 launch borked anything, which, I mean, most games usually launch with some rough stuff, and at least server-side connection-wise, I've been okay so far. Graphically, the game looks really great. I think the YouTube videos just like don't do the colors and the HDR justice, but it looks really awesome stylistically, and I think it looks a little better than it did on launch. Colors, the water, the sunsets are really freaking out of this world. That style and everything is where Rare really cooked. And on the PS5 side, I did have a couple of little graphical issues though, in dark areas like interiors, some weird glitchy color artifacting on the bottom of the screen here and there. Also, some slow texture load in on close-up items occasionally, like stuff would be blurry for a couple of seconds. And every so often, I did notice like a weird turning blur effect when moving around. It's not motion blur, it's just kind of like an overly muddy look to some things. Now, these sound bad, but they're very small issues, stuff I expect to get ironed out, and it wasn't super distracting. I'm just covering my bases and mentioning everything I saw. And most importantly, the frame rate was pretty rock solid for me. So, long story short, if you don't like sandboxy social player experiences or just games as a service, you still might not be into this one, especially on the games as a service side. It has microtransactions, it has seasons, all that stuff, but most people would argue that Rare has been doing right by players with it, providing value. But if you're a solo player, you might be a bit bored sometimes, wandering around empty islands by yourself, or sailing your ship quietly by your lonesome. You better matchmake, you better find some folks. If you find and embrace the community, there's some charm and fun. So, long story short, I may not be the biggest Sea of Thieves guy. You know, it's something since the beginning I've appreciated, even if it never held my interest long term, but I respect it. And now it's on PS5, and it doesn't seem like they screwed up the launch. So, PlayStation fans, have fun, man. But of course, that's a before you buy. And like I said, we had to keep it quick today, just some first impressions. And this is how it goes. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinions. And now I want to hear yours. Your history with Sea of Thieves. Maybe you played on PC and you're jumping on PS5. Maybe you never played at all. I want to know your experience if you're jumping in. Let's talk anything Sea of Thieves down in the comments. Hit us up. We appreciate that. If this video does help you, maybe help you make a decision, clicking the like button's all you got to do, man. It helps us out. Thank you. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.